going to start my lesson with a phrase. So you can read it definitely. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. So as you can see, there are two negations in here, right? So these are the two negations, and there are two nouns, right? These are the two nouns in this phrase. Maybe you have heard these, maybe you have not heard these, but from today onwards, you will be able to figure out what this phrase says. Can you guess what is our lesson today? So today we are going to learn about 4 verbs in English, definitely which are confusing to use to everybody. So after this lesson, you will be able to figure out where to use those 4 words. So let's continue the lesson. So I will write the words on the board. The first one, borrow. Second one, lend. Third one, rent. And fourth one, use. These are the words that we are going to learn today, the usage of these and why most people mix these words. So the first word we are going to learn is borrow versus lend. Have you seen any difference between these two words? What's the difference between these two? So borrow. When we first consider the word borrow, so take this as an example. You don't have it, but you have the intention of using it for a few minutes. It can be a few minutes, and you have to take it. You have to take for a few minutes from another person because you don't have it, right? As an example, if you don't have a car and you need a car for a specific reason, so as you don't have, you are going to take someone else's car for your purpose, right? So I will say it like this. I don't have a car. Sometimes I ride my bicycle and sometimes I use public transportation. And if it is a necessary occasion, I am going to ask for my mother's car. So I can say simply, I am going to borrow my mother's car. So how I am going to ask the question from my mother? Can I borrow your car? So the main contrast between these two words is who is doing the action. The first one, you are doing the action, right? You don't have, so you have to ask for it for some purpose. And the second one, what about the second word? It's lend. What is it? It is that, do you have the car? Yes, you have. And this is you, and you have a car, right? And your friend, maybe your friend, you don't have a car, maybe your cousin, maybe someone else, they don't have a car, and they are coming to ask for your car, okay? In the first place, as if you can remember, you don't have a car, somebody else's car you are going to borrow, okay? Someone else's. Here you have the car and you are going to give the car to someone else, okay? So they are coming to take your car. How is the person that who takes your car is going to ask you the question, can you lend me your car? Because he is not the owner of the car and you are the owner of the car. It's a probable and most polite way to use the word is can. So he can ask you, she can ask you, can you lend me your car? So the next word I wrote here is rent. So borrow versus rent. What is the difference that you see between these two verbs? When you borrow something, do we have to pay? No, we don't have to pay. So the payment is not needed. But here, when you rent something, the payment is needed. That is exactly the difference between borrow versus rent. So you know now where to use rent and where to use borrow, right? Is most commonly the houses and the apartments, they are going to rent, right? The houses and apartment. And what about borrow? So you can borrow books, DVDs from where? From the library. So here the difference is when you rent something you have to pay because you don't want to borrow it for some reason. You don't want to borrow it, and especially when we take houses and apartments, in whatever you are going to rent, the owners are expecting money from you, right? But when you are going to borrow something, when you are going to the library and you are borrowing books and DVDs, you don't want to pay. Okay, the only thing is that you have promised to give it back, whatever the thing. That's the difference between rent and borrow. However, when you rent something, these days we have spent so much money. That's the method of renting I am thinking, right? So the fourth one we are going to use is going to the last part of our lesson. It's the word borrow versus use. So where do we use borrow? Where do we use? So maybe definitely when you don't have a pen, you have asked from a friend, can I use your pen or maybe pencil or whatever? It's a thing. It's a simple thing, right? So can I use your vehicle, your car? Is it correct? No, it's not correct. Okay, I will highlight it. Because we don't give a car to use. Simply, we can use borrow. It's right. Can I borrow your car? It's totally because we have to use it and return it. So borrowing a car, it's right because we have to use it and return it, right? Here you don't want to return it because it's a simple thing. No, it's a pencil, so it's not, I mean, a big valuable thing, big materialistic thing. But here the car, it's definitely a valuable thing and you have to use it and return it, definitely. So I will tell you an incident. One day a friend of mine came along to my place and I came across him and asked from me. One day a friend of me came to my place and asked from me, can I borrow your toilet? I was wondering whether he was going to take my toilet to his place. So can you see? So when you borrow something, you have to take it to your place. So simply think of the car. So if you are going to borrow someone else's car, so you are going to take it to your place. I mean, that doesn't exactly want to be the place that you are in. You have to carry it away from the place which is now it is in, right? So you have to take it far away from the place and you have to return it, give it back to the person who belongs it, right? So how are you going to correct my friend's mistake? So how can we exactly correct? So we can ask, can I use your toilet? Because you are going to use it and after that you are going to keep it in that place and you are going to go away. Okay, so to borrow it, you have to be a very strong person. So it's definitely you have to use the word use, right? So as I told you, I'm going to go to the first meaning of our video. So this is the sentence I wrote. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. So what is exactly the meaning of this phrase? So you should not be a person to borrow or lend. Borrow something from someone and lend something to someone, right? So especially, what's the thing behind this? Especially money. Okay, you should be a person not to lend your money or borrow someone else's money. So that's our lesson. I think you enjoyed my lesson very well, and if there's something to take from my lesson in the next video, bye.